Well, hello there. Thank you so much for checking out the YouTube channel on here and pretty much supporting me by watching my videos. If you would like to support me monetarily, there is a way. Anchor.fm/Jason Tamer. Pretty much, if you want to give away your money, you don't have to, obviously, but it's an option. Also, if you want to check out my stuff that I be posting, because, I do photography, Instagram.com/Jason Tamer. That's another way to support me. I would be honored if you followed me. But without further ado, on to the episode. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2.
Now, here comes the music.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and non-binary beings, yeah, welcome to the JTX podcast. Welcome, season 2. I don't think y'all ready for this, but I hope you are. Are you ready? Let's go! Welcome one, welcome all to a new episode of the JTX podcast, season 2, episode 13. I am your host, Jason Tamer, and Happy New Year's, y'all. If you are listening to this in around the beginning of the month of January of 2021, happy 2021. We are no longer in the year of our devil 2020, if that makes sense. I had a break. I took a photography break for about a month. I took a podcasting break. I know I uploaded stuff last month. But in overall, it's been a good break that I really much needed. So, I really hope all of y'all enjoyed your holidays. I know we're still in the whole shelter at home COVID shit that's going on. There we go. Hey, hi. All right. So let me just do a little bit of housekeeping before we really get into the episode. I don't know if anybody who listens to this, I have an Instagram. www.instagram.com/Jason, Jason, Tamer, Tamer. That is my photography podcast, my photography Instagram profile. I tend to upload a lot of different things on there. A lot of photography, and I'm going to start making videos. So I'm going to start uploading up on there. If you are coming from that profile, this is the podcast, so welcome. Also, well, how do I put this? We're still in shelter in place. Things are still kind of iffy when it comes to guests. So I'll do my best to bring on as many guests as possible. I have a few people I'm talking to, trying to get them on. So we'll see what happens with that. In the meantime, please bear with me with this podcast. I know a lot of people have said they loved that there are guests and different perspectives and such. So that is my main focus, my main goal on doing this. Having people of different perspectives, different backgrounds, and talking to them about their journeys. So in the meantime, enjoy what I put out. Enjoy as much as possible. Like I said, I also have an Instagram. You can go check out my stuff on there. I will post updates on there if anything comes up. If you're comfortable with it, feel free to support. You could support by checking out, like I said, my Instagram profile. Also, I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/geek, GEEK, nerd, NERD, square, SQUARE. So yeah, technically it'll show up as J Tamer X. It'll show up on there. I just posted a new mini short film that I made. Well, short video that I made. And it's something that I've wanted to do for a while because the last one I made before that was 4 years ago. So it's a continuation of that whole lineage of videos, and I hope to make more, especially with the fact that I have a camera now, like a digital camera. You can support through there. Also on anchor.fm/Jason Tamer. There is a monetary support if you would like, if you feel comfortable with giving me money. That's awesome. If you don't, that's okay too. I'm not in a dire need. I mean, obviously, I'm not working. A lot of people aren't working, but just with reposting these episodes to your social media, for me, that's more than enough. So thank you for that. This week's episode is somebody who, I mean, she is very dear to my heart. And yes, everybody that I bring on here is very dear to my heart. Yet, this woman, she fights demons, not literally, but in a mental sense. Although probably I wouldn't be surprised if she actually fights real demons. She graduated from university. She's a Latina that kicks ass like a motherfucker. I mean, Jesus Christ, like, I'm grateful to have the ability to bring her on because she's that type of person that she's very good with choosing who she gives her time to. And if she gives her time to you, it's a huge honor. I mean, like I said, she won't do that for everybody. So I'm extremely grateful to have her on here. We met 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, where I used to work at the gym. I met a lot of people at the gym, so that's probably the reason why you're hearing a lot of people who were there that come on here. But I met her around that time, and we hit it off. We genuinely loved talking. At that time, she was coming in with her boyfriend, and I don't know what it was, but like great minds gravitated, and we talked about like awesome shit. And I mean, we've been friends ever since. So without further ado, I give you the one, the only, the Latina Fire Jocelyn. So the quote that I chose for you, before anything, I've known you probably for like 3 years, 4 years, somewhere around there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen you come a long way from where you were before. And don't get me wrong, like every day, we're always growing and we're always changing, especially in our early 20s, where it's like we're finding out who we are, or it's like we're restarting like our teenage years, right?
Yeah.
From there, I've seen your evolution, and sure, not as in depth as probably other people, just because like, other people are closer to you, but I've still been able to see that change from you. And that's the reason why I decided to go with this quote. The quote goes as, "The most painful thing is losing yourself in the process of loving somebody too much and forgetting that you are special too." You, and I've told you this before, you are on a journey that a lot of people don't go through, and that's beautiful. That is something that, I mean, first and foremost, like, you graduated from university under criminal justice.
Yeah.
Right? You have gone on your adventures, and you still keep, well, obviously not now because of like what's going on with the world, but you still go on your adventures, and you've done things that, once again, just so many people wish they could do. But in the process, you were still trying to figure out who you are, and I'm sure you're still trying to figure out who you are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's the reason why I gravitated a lot to you, because when you see somebody starting to form their being, it's like, how were they able to get from this point to this other point? So with that being said, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, why not?
What's your name?
My name is Jocelyn.
Jocelyn. Okay, Jocelyn. Where are you from? How old are you?
I was born and raised in the Bay Area, San Francisco, Frisco, 415.
You can represent.
Say every name.
Say every name. I mean, tell me, like, you're currently 22? 23?
I am 23.
23. Okay,
Yeah.
so how do you feel seeing that when you were 19 to where you are in 23 right now? Like, how do you feel about your changes or your evolution or your growth?
Yeah, that's a.
It's a loaded question.
It's like a heavy thinker, you know. Man, I feel like a lot has changed. I would say like both positive and bad. I feel like when I was, let's say, like 18 through like, let's say 20, I was like living my best life. Like I was like, I had just discovered alcohol. I was like, oh my gosh.
That's the drug right there.
Jesus, this is fun.
Do me a favor, bring the mic closer to you. There you go. Cool. Perfect.
So yeah, I used to go out a lot out with my friends. We used to always do some things. It was so new to me to like being out, because throughout like high school I did not do anything. I was like that kid who was always like school, grades, let's go into college. Like that was my ideal goal. That's all I thought about. But once I graduated and went to college, I was like, whoa, there's a whole different world out there. So that was very interesting to see. But I noticed that as soon as I hit, I think it was my second semester of sophomore year, there was like a drastic change of like, I started to feel like very like lonely and like very depressed. I'm not quite sure where exactly it was coming from. But at the time I was working at a restaurant. So I was always working. I probably worked up to like 40 hours a week and then full-time student. That was very stressful. And I remember every night afterward going home and drinking a bottle of wine by myself.
Nice.
So that kind of was my escape, like for a good 6 months.
Yeah.
But over time, I was just like, whoa, like drinking is not helping. It's just making me feel like more worse and worse. So that was like a huge change that was happening. Then I saw myself as I was getting older. I continued to feel like very like with like anxiety and depression until like today now, especially with everything that's going on. Like it's very hard to maintain myself like, all right, Jocelyn, let's do this, let's do that, let's maintain like a positive attitude, because I tend to like always fall back, and at times I don't know how to get up. But I feel like once I'm in that I don't know, I could say like positive people or like very like good energy, like I just uplift. It's like a whole different Jocelyn when I have those people around me. So.
You take that energy with you.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like you're transferring it also, and it's spreading out.
Yeah, and I'm very good with like energy or like with people around me. Even if I just look at you, I can already sense your vibe. It could be like a handshake or just like a look, and I already sense if I like have good energy from you, if I'm gonna connect with you, if I'm gonna hang out with you, you know. People think I'm crazy, but I don't know.
No, I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. I personally and I know a lot of my listeners know this. I'm an atheist, so I don't believe like it's not that I don't believe in the higher being. It's just there isn't really enough proof for me.
Yeah.
But once it comes to like energy, vibes, and shit like that, it's like if you deduct it down, it's atoms and atoms coming together, right? So that's like what energy is. And I like you could sense if somebody's like their intentions, if they're wanting to do more than just like what they're saying and shit like that. But do you feel, because and I mean no disrespect when I say this, we're very similar when it comes to that.
Yeah.
We have anxiety. We've had depression. We've had these feelings, and while my journey is different than yours, obviously. Do you feel that having the ability to like feel that energy, has it affected your anxiety in multiple ways, or have you been able to like put your foot down and be like, okay, well, I'm not gonna let this get a hold of me or get the best of me?
I feel like at times yes, having like that feel of people's like energy or like my surroundings really gives me like really bad anxiety.
Yeah.
And at times I kind of put myself in situations where I feel anxiety kind of to see where it takes me. Or how like can I control it, or like is it just things in my head, or is it something that's actually happening? So it's kind of it's in between. It's kind of trying to see reality versus is it just in your head type of thing. So that's why at times I do tend to put myself in situations where I do not feel comfortable, but then it's a way for myself to see it's just in your head or it's actually real and you should have this anxiety going on, you know? So
it's a superpower. In the end of the day, that's the way I see it. I always tell people that's what it is. It's like the ability to be able to see if something might happen, but without without making it that it is what it is, right? Like
yeah, exactly.
You stepped out a lot of your comfort zone in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, do you have this vision of like who you want to be? And is that the reason why you would do the things you did and tried out different things? Or is it just more of like, I want to prove myself wrong then?
I think whenever it comes, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to do this to like prove myself wrong or prove people wrong. I don't necessarily believe in that. I'm more so of like, you're doing this because you feel a certain way towards whatever it is, or it's more of, how do I explain it? I like have it in my head. I'm like, how do I put it in words? It's more of like I know who I am and what I'm capable of doing, and maybe that's why I put myself in situations that might be comfortable, uncomfortable, or things that I just want to do and see where it goes. For instance, I know like most of like my friends and my family knows me as like, oh, like Jocelyn, like she would never do like, let's say like post like an exposing picture of herself, you know. I'm like known as that kid who would never do any.
You're the good girl. You're the
yeah.
Good girl. You're the good Christian girl that every guy wants to bring back to their mom too.
Yeah, or I remember, I don't know when was my first time I posted like kind of like an exposing picture, and then on my phone I was like, Jocelyn, the good kid gone bad.
Wow.
And I always found myself, even like now recently, where like I want to post something, but then I'm like, oh, my family's gonna see it, so I have to like kind of hide them from my stories, which I feel like I shouldn't be, you know, having to do that, because it's like, this is who I am, this is what I'm into, this is what, you know.
I'm with you. No, I mean, I'm a new photographer. Like, you know, me posting stuff, all of a sudden I just get a bunch of my family members being like, whoa, like, you're making porn now? And I'm like, I mean, that's not porn, but also, yeah, I do.
Yeah. So I think I do those things because I want to do it, and I kind of want to see like where that takes me, you know. I'm trying, basically just discovering myself. That's what I'm doing. Like, if I do this, like, oh, like, how do you react? Or do you feel comfortable? Did this make you uncomfortable? So I'm kind of just testing who I am, what I want to do with myself, but I do see who I am in the future.
So you do have a vision of who you want,
Absolutely.
Who you want to be. Right?
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you're like, I'm enjoying getting to know myself. And
yeah, exactly.
That's perfect.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. It's like, who is Jocelyn? And I'm just testing things and taking notes.
That is a good question. No, dude, that's the beauty of, I guess, our generation in a sense, because a lot of people, I'm assuming your parents immigrated from here, like here?
Yes.
Yeah, so like our families, it's like they have to grow up like, right away. Usually like in their early teens, right?
Absolutely.
So for us, it's now that we're older, like we're still trying to figure out like what is it what we truly want to do.
Yeah.
Like, do we really want to follow this path, or, you know, do we want to have a family at this time, or things like that? Yeah. What made you want to get into criminal justice?
That's a really good question.
That is a good
because for high school, I went to City Arts and Tech, and it's all about technology and art, obviously. And I was just so into like art. So when I was applying to schools, my major originally was art. Yeah. And I was like, I love art. Like, I love doing this. I love expressing myself. And that's what it was. But once I got into college, I took a few courses, and I obviously liked them. But I was like, what am I really going to do with this? Like, is this going to take me somewhere? It's kind of like a hit or miss, you know?
Yeah.
And I say this because my dad works with a lot of like painters and like artists, photographers, and a lot of them have not fully succeeded. Yeah. So I was like, like, should I do this? Should I not do this? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take other classes and see where that takes me. And I took one of the criminal justice courses, and I believe, I don't remember the name of it exactly, but it was fully based on how people try to get away with crimes. And I was like, whoa, this is interesting. At first, I was like, am I getting into this to find ways on how to break the system? And I was like, but I was just so intrigued. I wanted to learn more, you know, I wanted to learn more about our system and how it functions, because I had an ideal that whatever happens in our system or in our government, the reason they do it is because it's the right reason. I kind of grew up with that. So after, I think it was my senior year in high school, I barely started like learning a bit about like the Black Lives Matter, like all like the cases that were happening in Ferguson, the protests, and I was like, whoa.
What year was this? Because Black Lives Matter came out, officially was out like 2016, 2017.
Exactly.
Right?
So I started learning about this. It was 2014, because I graduated in 2015 of high school.
Gotcha.
So in 2014, I had a teacher. I love him. His name is Ben. He was teaching a AP government class. And I took his class, and I was just like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on, and I've never heard about this. Like, what the hell? Where have I been? And it's because our school system, education system, is so fucked. We only hear that side of, you know, it's like this is why it happens, but you don't really get to see that idea of like what is really actually happening to people. So then I started discovering things, started reading things, and he was teaching us about how like the police is so fucked up, and I had no idea. I thought that the police was like, you know, guards, like they're gonna come here and protect you, but that's not always the case. And then I started like noticing like how different I am, that I could be from other people. Because I've, you know, I don't know, I guess I personally never experienced like racism, but my parents did. And at times, I don't know, it never really clicked in my head. It sounds very ignorant, but I was uneducated.
No, that's what it is, especially growing up, like not especially, but like for me, it was the same thing with my parents. They're here to help you. Yeah. The police is here to be like, it's for you. Like, you know, hell, even my dad made me took a police academy course when I was 17. Yeah. So we grow up being like, this is how the world works, but until you start hearing different perspectives, or you start really digging into it, you're like, oh shit, like this is not what we really thought it was.
Yeah, exactly. And that was just like a bit of my like interest. I was like, oh, you know, I like that. But at the time when I applied for colleges, I was like, let's go with art, because I love art. But once I took that criminal justice class, I was like, holy shit, there is so much shit going on. And we think about the system being so like great, and they're like helping us, but there's so much shit that happens. It's literally like a black web. And I was like, oh shit, I love this. And I took a whole bunch of courses, and I was like, yep, this is my major, I'm gonna do it. At first I was like, if I don't get a job, maybe I would go into plan B was go to the police academy. But then, especially this summer, the whole like Black Lives Matter movement really started to uplift more, and you start to see a whole bunch of protests and stuff. And I started like opening my eyes, like once you get into that system, whatever you believe in, scratch it out. It doesn't exist, because you're kind of you're being controlled, you know. Let's say if, I don't know how to explain it, it's like your beliefs don't matter anymore. That's how I see it. Like if I were to go in a system, I have to do whatever they're telling me to do. Because if I don't do that and I go with what I believe, I get backfire, right? For doing something that's right. But to them, it's like, oh, no, you need to follow these guidelines. So whatever you believe in is just forget it.
Well, let me ask you that. Let me push back on that then.
Yeah.
Because I do agree with you. Like, if you believe certain things, it could potentially get you killed also.
Yeah.
Like, depending on the
Exactly.
situation you're in. Also, you have to remember that a lot of, like, a good amount of people don't like police officers. So you already have that against you.
Yeah.
But do you really believe you can't at least try to make a change in going into the police force and seeing how it works internally and trying to move up the ladder, trying to, like, just make a difference in what you're doing?
That's the thing. It's like you can go in with this mindset, I feel. And that was my idea. I was like, I want to be like that cop, that's who can change something around.
Yeah.
But I just feel like everyone who's in it is just...
Everyone. So,
well, not every... I want to say, like, most... Or, like, the, maybe there is, like, I will say, like, 25%.
25%.
Of people who are like, oh, yeah, like, I want to make a difference. I want to do the right thing. But the rest is feel like it's just so corrupt, so people go against you. And I say this because look at the whistleblowers. There was this, I forgot his name. He was a police officer who I think it was like back in 2006. I don't know. It was like way back.
Yeah.
He was a cop. And he just saw a whole bunch of shit that was happening on how like police were just pulling up onto like crowds of mostly people of color and low income communities, just checking on them, kind of just picking on them for no reason. And he saw that. And then he started like recording everything. And then he came, I think it was a head chef. I'm hungry. Sheriff.
We'll get some food after this, I promise.
With the sheriff. And then they were trying to kill him.
Yeah.
So like I just see so many things and I'm just like, I don't know.
Also, because what was it? I think it was recent this past summer where they did find a bunch of files of all these citations that were unnecessary. That, they found all this evidence of just being like, because and everybody knows they have to meet a quota, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they get
Absolutely.
paid. Like, so, yeah, like, I'm not saying there isn't corruption. What I'm saying is I personally don't like to generalize. I really don't.
Yeah.
I believe that there are good people, bad people, anywhere, wherever you go. But I also do believe that there is a way of approaching things.
Absolutely.
But also, we as people in general have to understand that sometimes we can do everything perfect and still not succeed in what we're trying to achieve. That doesn't make us failures. That just makes us human. So that's why, for example, when you're saying that, a good portion of the police, I agree. Like they're a good portion are corrupt, and a lot of it stems from the 80s, 70s,
Absolutely.
90s, like that type of era. But when newer people come, and hopefully they could change. When newer people come, they come with that new mindset of like, this is not, I don't like this, so I can change this, and I could work myself way up to be at a position of authority over all the police officers, and have that change and have that difference.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. That is. I don't know.
But that's a fantasy, though. We also have to understand, like, that's just one possibility.
Yeah.
Because not everybody, like, in general, like, I'm not generalizing, but it inherently, like, a lot of people, given the right circumstances, can flip like that. Money, obviously, is a big thing, So, do you not want to go into the justice system with what you have, or what do you want to do?
I do want to go into justice system.
Nice.
But I want to go specifically. I would love to start with like nonprofit places, and I really want to work maybe with like inmates and their families. But I specifically want to focus on youth, how to keep youth out of being incarcerated.
Perfect.
I feel like that is like my main goal, and I feel like that's something that I'm very like passionate about. But right now with like COVID, it's like all of those interacting with people. I can't do that. So, but that's as hopefully fingers crossed. I find something and this gets better.
The fact that you even just graduated, that's, dude, like that already in itself, you're definitely going to be able to find something.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of want to dive back into your mental hurdles. As like, I don't like to call them mental illnesses. I like to call them mental hurdles because, like, illness in itself is like a limitation. I think, once again, I believe that having the anxiety or having overthinking can be a superpower. You being at the age of 23, have you learned to cope with what you have, or is this still something you're actively working on?
Yes and a no. So there are times where I know how to control it. I just like literally talk to myself. I'm just talking to myself like, oh, it's okay, it's fine, relax. Because there are times where I could just be chilling out of nowhere. My heart gets so heavy and I start like thinking the worst. I'm like, oh my gosh, like what if like something happens to my family? What am I gonna do? I've been a bad daughter. Like I didn't spend Christmas with them, or like, just crazy shit just comes to my head.
Yeah.
And at times it like takes over me. So there are times I can control it, sometimes I can't. And it's kind of scary because at times I feel like I'm driving myself crazy. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just chilling out of nowhere. I feel like I don't know how to cope with life. I don't know if I can cope with the outside. Like just coming here, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if I can do it.
When you texted me, I was like, I tried to reassure you, like, we'll have like procedures if you feel like certain things are uncomfortable.
Yeah, and that happens every time. A lot of people hate me for this because at that time they'll be like, hey, Jocelyn, do you want to hang out? Do you want to do something? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But then like the days are getting closer and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to go out. I don't know if I want to do it. And then last minute I flake.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't want to be there. It's just because my emotions and my anxiety just take over me and I physically cannot get out of my home.
Well, I'm guilty of that. I don't hate you, but I'm guilty of that for sure. So if that's the case, like, it's more of the curiosity. And I have my own reasons why myself, but what allows you to even hang out with a specific type of people versus, like, the people who ask you to hang out and you flake?
Yeah. So the only people I'm always down to hang out, it's people who, like, I see often. So it has to be people that, like, I'm constantly around, like, say, like, and it's like I like talk to people. I'm social, but I'm very, very, very small with my circle.
Yeah, same.
So like for me, like my closest friends are like my cousins. And let's say that if I have a cousin, her name is Rosa, and she's like my sister. Like if she lives in Sacramento, she'd be like, Jocelyn, come over here right now. I will go at any time. Like no hesitation, I will be there. Or she'd be like, hey, like, want to go out? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But I feel because with her mainly, I've been knowing her my entire life since we were born.
She's your cousin.
And she knows me so well that she knows how to handle and have, like, she just knows how to, like, I just feel comfortable. It's like I'm home. It's like, that's my safety. Or like if I'm with like my parents, like I'm complete. I don't get any anxiety or anything. Or just like my closest friends, like, yeah, like no hesitation. But if like it's friends that I haven't seen in a long time and they want to like hang out, I like freak out. I can't do it. Unless, let's say if like my cousin was here and other people were like, hey, let's go out, then I'll go because she's there.
Your closest circle.
Yeah. But other than that, forget it. I feel bad, and at times I have a problem. I do not know how to say no to situations. And I hate that about myself. Because there are times where I just want to be like, no, I don't want to. But then I like anxiety. Here it comes. Yeah. They're going to think I'm a bad person. I don't hang out with them,
So you do it.
So then like I'll be like, yeah, let's do it. But then at times like I'm like, what am I going to say? Like, and I hate this about myself because I just want to hang out with people because I know I have a lot of people who love me, want to spend time with me, and I do too. But at times I just physically and emotionally can't do it. Yeah, so hanging out with people who I don't often see is very hard for me to do.
And I'm assuming a lot of that stems from just when you were younger, right?
Oh, yeah. All my trauma comes when I was young.
Everybody. You included. Yeah. Well, I mean, in the end of the day, especially for somebody who isn't, I wouldn't even say understanding, it's just somebody who like reads up on that. It's understandable. Like you can't blame somebody for doing the actions that they do, but you can blame them for acting. How do I say this? Like there's something that I like to say sometimes. I can't be mad at you. Not you specifically,
Yeah.
but like in general. I can't be mad at you for doing what you needed to do to take care of yourself, to like protect yourself from anything because of your past situations.
Yeah.
But when something is brought up and talked maturely, not yelling or screaming or anything like that, that's a whole different story because it's like we were able to pinpoint what's going on. Now, you have been through a lot, and we're not really, I'm not, like, whatever you're comfortable with talking.
Yeah.
But I remember you were telling me this. Do you feel that your past relationships have caused you to be more stronger now into what you are becoming or wanting to do? Or do you feel that that's still holding you back from your fullest potential because of what you went through?
I guess it has definitely helped me grow and see things from different perspectives. Yeah, because I don't know, I feel like at times I might put myself in like, again, situations that might not be something that you should be in, but it's more of like I'm in it because I know what I'm capable of dealing with. Where I kind of ignore that, whatever bad is happening. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Tomorrow's like a new day. Let's see how it goes. I don't know. I guess I have grown.
You have. You 100% have. Even just seeing you today.
Yeah.
Like I've noticed you grow.
Yeah, I always put myself first. I'm always, whatever I'm doing is for myself. If I don't want to be or having a conversation, I shut it down completely. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna head out. I'm more of, it's me, you know. I like what I'm doing is for myself. If I want to, I don't know how to put it. I'm just like, it's in my head. It's like playing.
I
But
hate
I'm
it
like,
when it happens. Yeah, I feel you. I've been there.
it's like I'm playing. What is a scramble? Trying to figure out how to put it together.
Word for friends.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just put myself where I feel comfortable now.
Yeah.
And if I put myself in where I don't feel comfortable, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like it's kind of like a
You're
check-in,
vocal.
like, hey, like, Jocelyn, are you sure about this? You know. So it's more of now it's just me, like whatever I want to do, whatever, you know. It's just me. I come first.
As you should. That's the most important thing. A lot of us, I mean, I grew up codependent, very codependent. So I, much like you were saying, I didn't know how to say no.
Yeah.
And I would, quote unquote, flake also. But a lot of that did stem from just my experiences with my mom, or a lot of that then stemmed also like my relationships were horrible because I always try to please. I always try to, and I didn't check into myself. I wasn't like, hey, like, Jesse, are you sure this is what you want to do? And if I did, in the rare instances, I would completely shut down myself and be like, I don't want to do anything with anybody at all. You know, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And this goes back to the quote you said in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like my entire life it's always been like others, you know. And I've said this multiple times to like most of the people around me. I feel like my purpose in life is to help others. I don't know exactly how, but whatever it comes to my plate and I see that someone's not doing good or, you know, they need me, I'm there. And then it's like, I forget about myself. It's like, I'm just like a body just going around trying to help others, trying to see how I can, I don't want to say fix, how to
work with,
or like how can I make them feel better, you know.
Yeah.
That's always been like my ideal ever since I was like young.
Yeah.
That's always been what I feel that I'm meant to do. But then I forget that in order to do that, I need to maintain myself sane and take care of myself. And that's what I've learned a lot. So that's how I'm growing, putting myself first and how to maintain myself sane and alive, you know? Yeah.
Do you officially know what are you wanting to do? Like when you're 5 years from now? Or is it still something that you're still growing and evolving?
So I definitely want to work and with youth for sure.
For sure.
That's something that I really want to do and I'm passionate about. I've always had a dream to have my own foundation.
Nice.
To not sure exactly what I want to base it on. Maybe I want to do it on what's it called? With kids where
Take your time.
where like parents at times don't have, you know, like the stability to have a child, and then orphanage. I've always wanted to have a place where I can help kids. Youth.
You love kids.
I love kids.
Yeah,
So that's my main goal, and I've always want to give back, especially, you know, unfortunately financially, a lot of people can't give what they want to give to their kids.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed, and I've had the privilege to have parents who came here and instantly started working, and they've always maintained ways on how to figure out and manage their finances. So that's why I've been able to do a lot of things that I've wanted to do with my life. So I see that I've had so many opportunities, and I want to be able to give that to others. So yeah, that's like my main goal, like helping others, you know.
You have a vision. That's good.
So that's what I really want to do, and I want a home. I've been saving up since I was 15 because I really, really, really want a home.
Nice.
And I want to invest, whether it's like a property or maybe I come up with like, I don't know, a product. I don't know. But I definitely want to invest, work with youth, have my home, and travel.
You're a hustler. Traveling.
I love traveling.
You're telling me. I was going to bring it up too. So you love Japan?
Oh my God. I was going to go again in March for the cherry blossoms.
Oh, that's like I went in 15. I went out there during March, April, during the cherry blossoms.
Yeah.
It's fucking beautiful. Wow.
When I went 2 years ago to Japan, I fell in love.
Right?
I did not want to come back. 2 weeks and a half was not enough at all. That was literally like being there for 2 days.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like there's always something to do. Like always. I had a blast. I love everything about it. The food, the people, the culture.
The train systems is so
that's amazing.
It's what I know. Yeah,
amazing.
It's exactly right. Yeah.
So
did you go anywhere else other than Tokyo?
I went to Japan.
I think you went to Yokohama? No.
I went to a whole bunch of places. Okay. I don't know most of the places I went to because I did not know how to work the maps or like Apple. Forget it.
Yeah.
Even like now, I could have my GPS on the car and I'll end up somewhere completely different.
I noticed.
I'm terrible with maps. I'm horrible. So, but I went to a lot of places, like a lot. I went to Shibuya. Oh, that's where we say Shibuya. Well, that is in Japan.
Yeah. Yes, everywhere.
Oh my God, I'm dumb.
So Tokyo is like the
that's the main. Yeah.
But Shibuya is like the district.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So I went to Japan to a whole bunch of different districts.
There we go.
Yeah. That's well said.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're probably like, where does this dumbass go? She's lost. Yeah, but Japan was amazing. I love it. And I was going to go back to March. Had the tickets. Had the Airbnb. And I remember the whole COVID situation started going on like in, I think it was like the ends of February.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, I hope it gets better. I was just already planning. I was like, I'm going to wear like those suits, you know, to, what are those suits that they wear whenever there's like.
A kimono?
No. Like to get there because the whole COVID, I didn't want to get infected.
Yeah.
Whatever, like a suit not to
like
get
a suit,
infected.
like, not get infected.
And I was like, I had like a whole idea. I was like, yeah, COVID is not gonna stop me.
I'm going.
And then I was like, whoa, people are dying. Like a lot of people are dying. I saw it start to get really, really serious. And then I called the airlines and they said, oh, as for right now, I think we're still like flying. Oh, yeah. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. But then I saw that it was just spreading everywhere. And I was like, nope, there's no way we're going. And then they canceled everything instantly. And I was like, man, bummer, it sucks. But
also, they shut down their borders. So even if you were to be able to go, they wouldn't let you in. Like, you'd have to take the plane back.
Yeah, come back.
12 hours. Thanks a lot for that.
Oh, the first time I went,
yeah,
the flight was literally 17 hours because...
You do a layover? Where?
Yeah, I did 2 layovers.
Ooh, that's horrible.
So it was from San Francisco to LA, LA to Hong Kong.
Oh, no.
Hong Kong to Japan.
Yeah, how was the Hong Kong layover? Because I only did the LA layover, not the Hong Kong layover.
So the Hong Kong was fast.
Okay, cool.
It was probably, I waited maybe like 30 minutes, which
nice.
Wasn't bad. And the airlines, I did Pacifica Airlines. Amazing.
Nice.
Loved it. The whole trip was amazing. I want to go back.
I bet. I was I don't know if I've said this on here. Probably have. I was planning to move out there back in August. This past August. I had everything ready. I had my hotel. I was going to be there. Well, I mean, I was planning to like move. Yeah. But I had a hotel for about 3 months. I had money to be like, all right, I'm going to be out here. And because they were supposed to open their borders back in July, I think. They were planning to. Okay. And they just haven't. And I had to cancel everything. So now I'm stuck in San Francisco. Sadly.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go this time if you go to back to Japan? Do you want to still stay in Tokyo, or do you want to go check out the other prefectures or the other?
I definitely want to stay in Tokyo, and from there go to like different locations.
So that would
be
your hub.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kyoto, you want to go check out?
Yeah. There's just so much.
There is a lot.
I'm like, wow. Like I was just so amazed. Like I had an idea of Japan, but I was beyond surprised. I was like, whoa, it's a whole different world. I love it here. To a point where I was like, I wouldn't mind living here.
Yeah, it's a well. There's something foreigners always say. Japan is great for tourists. It's horrible to people for living there. Like,
yeah, I've heard that
because like your rent is shit. Like you have to pay more than a regular Japanese person. If you don't know Japanese, you're pretty much fucked because you can't like do certain things. Like to write and all that. Did you go clubbing out there?
No. So there wasn't. That trip was mostly literally just checking out different places, like going to like the whole.
Y'all went to Odaiba, I think.
Yeah, it was like just checking out location, but we didn't do like the partying life or like we just didn't do it.
Yeah, it was just strictly like fun. Yeah.
But the time we were gonna go back in March, it was like, okay, we're gonna try the bars, we're gonna try the restaurants, all of like everything that we didn't get to do. Yeah. So I was like, ooh, I want to see how that is. But man, we'll see until when we can go back.
So next year for sure. I already have like 5 people because I was supposed to do a photo shoot too. I already told them as soon as they open it up, I'm heading out there. So yeah, hopefully we'll see soon.
Oh, lucky, have fun.
Oh, definitely will. I don't know if I told you. I went in January, pre-COVID.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm. I had been. Well, what's the best way to put it? I voluntarily resigned from my job at the time. So I left that job, and my sister was just like, let's go to LA. And I'm like, oh, all right. But obviously I was going to flake out on her. And she's like, let's just go to Japan. I'm like, all right.
They're like, now you're talking.
Yeah. So we ended up going to Japan for the New Year for about 4 or 5 days. So I just showed her around. I took her to all the places that I went to. She fucking loved it. She never thought she was going to love Japan also. And
Yeah.
Oh my God, that place is. We're speaking highly, and probably like a lot of people are just like Japan.
You're like, are you sure?
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, before I ask you my last question, because I always ask the last question, do you have any questions for me on anything? You could ask me anything. It could be what we were talking about. It could be about general life that, our pasts.
I think I feel like this has I feel like I may connect to this. I just saw like a little like clip on, I think you posted on your story about an old video that you posted on YouTube, and you were talking about your weight.
Yeah.
So when you were, I don't know if you remember, but like when you recorded that video, like where were you? Like where was your mindset, and where are you now?
So that was back in 2012. Even though the video was like, I want this like costume.
Yeah.
At that time, I had my heart broken, because it's always a heartbreak.
Oh yeah.
I had my heart broken by this one girl that I liked a lot. I was going through a lot. Definitely suicidal. 100% suicidal. I wanted to kill myself. And I just didn't want to be here. So I gave myself a reason to like lose the weight. But to be forward with you, what made me lose the weight was not as much as trying to get that costume.
Yeah.
It was something that a coworker told me at that time. And it was, if you want pussy, you need to work out. And it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's very like out there. It's like, okay.
It is.
But if you were to put anything in there, it's like, if you want a good life, you need to do something about it. If you want
absolutely.
this, so at that time, I really hated who I was. So I ended up watching videos again of like other stuff that I've done in the past, and where I'm at now, I'm proud of the man that I am today. I am proud of how far I've come. I've had my fuck ups.
Yeah.
I've had my high achievements, and I'm barely 27. So I'm not even 30 yet.
Yeah.
If I were to put it into one word, I'm happy.
That's good.
It's good.
That's great. It's amazing.
I'm happy of who I am. I'm happy of what I've become. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean I'm going to stay stagnant as, okay, this is my peak and this is where I'm going to stay. No, that means I'm always open to be better. I'm always open to do more. I'm always open to, in a sense, like, and I'll say this in the question, but it's like I'm open to being the catalyst for somebody.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's why.
That's good.
I know this might sound gruesome, but like, if I were to die today, I'm totally cool with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with not being here, because I've done a lot in my life. I've traveled.
Yeah.
I've gone to Europe. I've gone to Asia. I've gone to Central America. I've had relationships. I've dated. I've had jobs that I hated and loved, and so that's really where I'm at right now. I'm very happy. Like, don't get me wrong, like, obviously I get my moments, but as anybody does, and there are things like I wish I could kind of have now again, or like, but I'm enjoying life the best I can.
That's really good. I'm proud.
Thank you.
That's good.
Any other questions? Yeah, like I said, feel free to ask me right now.
I don't know, for myself, I just want to like connect back to that, because I remember that ever since, I think so, I was like, I would say second grade, I've always been like heavier for my weight, and I used to get bullied a lot. Like, I would get bullied by my own teacher. Like, it was that bad.
I've been there.
And it was very,
Traumatizing.
It was traumatizing.
Yeah.
And I felt that at the time, I didn't really think about it, but I remember like it always like stuck back in my head. And I've always struggled with weight my entire life. And as I got older, I was like, fuck, like this is really affecting me. And I remember that I think I was like 12 and I got into, you know, like those like scammers at the mall. They're like, oh, are you interested to be on TV and become
like a
like
like you become an actor, here's my card.
Yeah, so I remember that some lady came up to me and I got in whatever, just like everybody else. And the company was called Johnny Robert, some shit like that. I don't know. And then whatever, it was just classes that you basically paid. And I remember someone saying, but you're fat. How are you going to be like a model? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
And then at the time, being a little kid, I was like, oh shit, she's right. I have never seen a model my size. And then from there, I just became so traumatized about my appearance. Until this day, I'm always like, you know, I'm always trying to like hide my body, or it's like sick because from there, I had a really bad eating disorder. And which until today, like haunts me. I was bulimic for almost a year. And the person who found me was my mom.
Doing that.
Yeah, and she like freaked out, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to lose weight. And I was just 12. And I remember watching videos on YouTube of people who had like anorexia and stuff like that. And that was like, it motivated me. Like, that was so bad. Like, what? Like, who? And now I think about it, I'm like, what was wrong with me, you know? And then from there, I was able to like overcome it. But I feel like deep down, like that's always there.
Yeah, and I agree with you. A lot of our things are always with us. That's why it's not about controlling it.
Yeah.
It's about working with it. It's like what would be a good way to put it? It's like having a dog, I guess.
Yeah.
Where a dog, if you try to control the dog, eventually it'll get to a point where it will like go after you. But if you like learn to like work with the dog and like from there instill its discipline, and like but you're still like close, you're still like together without it overstepping its boundaries.
Yeah.
You get more out of it. You're able to be like, okay, this is not a part of me. Oh, no, this isn't going to consume me, but it's a part of me, and I accept it. Because I'm with you. Like, you know, for me, it wasn't as much as, like, you're fat and you can't be a model, but for me, it was more of, like, you're fat, you're not ever going to get a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Or you're fat, you're never going to have sex. And because I grew up in that environment with my brothers, where, like, two of them were players. And they would always bring women every time. So, like, me seeing that as a kid, it's like, why not me? Why can't me? And it's like, because, you know, it affects you. And the older I got, it developed into something that was hypersexuality for me. And I let it consume me because I tried to control it too much.
Yeah.
So, dude, like, in the end of the day, it's okay to acknowledge that we have these things, but it's also okay to acknowledge that we are not this person anymore. Like, I did this, I understand that I did this, but this is not me anymore. And I might get these moments where it's like, I want to do this, but in truth is, I'm not that person.
Yeah. See, I'm trying to get to that mentality you have.
It's hard. It's dude, no, I'm telling you, it's super hard. You like, you know, I destroyed a lot of connections because of it. Trying to learn how to get to that mentality. I destroyed a lot of friendships, relationships. I think, to be forward, this mentality didn't officially start for me until I was 25. It wasn't until I was 25 that I like really, and the reason why I even got to that point is because I met a woman that I don't want to use the L word because I don't think it's that, but she was very important for me, and she was older than me, and she had her shit together in so many ways. Even though other things might have caused it also, in a sense, it was because of me that we broke it off, because I didn't know how to cope with my anxiety. I didn't know how to cope with my hypersexuality. I didn't know how to cope with all this shit. Yeah. But there's a silver lining in anything. So because of that happening, I was able to go into a world of photography because I want to see the beauty through different means. Yeah. And because of it, I got to meet amazing people with their own journeys and get inspired and inspire. So, like, you're 23 and obviously you still have a long way to go.
Oh, yeah, hopefully.
But also, that doesn't mean that the best isn't yet to come. Yeah. You'll learn what you need to learn as soon as you acknowledge what you're trying to learn. And if you did acknowledge that you want to have that mindset, all right, that's your first step. Yeah. The next step is tackling your past situations, being like, okay, this is what happened. I understand this is what happened. Yeah. But that's not, from one day to another. That's over time.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. Or maybe this was something that I wanted to like talk about most of this thing, but I felt like I didn't know how to put myself out there. Because I feel like when it comes to like my weight and body image, that has been like something that I live with. As soon as I wake up, that's the first thing I think about.
You go to the mirror and you check yourself.
Oh, I don't even look at myself.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I only look at my face. I never look down. Like, it's only head. Like, I'll do my makeup. And it's something that it's like, it bothers me. I don't want that to be, well, that has like driven me crazy for years. Because I started when I was 12 and I'm 23. That's
a decade.
Yeah, and that's something that's always in my head every day. When I'm eating, that's in my... Like, it's horrible. And I feel like that also has affected a lot of my relationships. Yeah. Because I'm always, like, pointed out, like, this or that. Because I feel like they see it, and I want to be able to acknowledge it first. I don't know.
But also, when it comes to relationships, it's a two-way street, though. Because I'm not going to be like... you're fat or you're gaining weight or shit. It's more of like, hey, let's have the conversation. Is there anything, are you stressing? Do you feel like you're going through something? Or like, is there anything I can be here for you?
Exactly.
It's having that collaboration of I'm acknowledging that this is happening. If you want to continue it, go for it. But just know that I am here to say something because you're my partner. So I want to work with you. But relationships do affect a lot of our quote unquote demons. Yeah. Weight gain is, you're not, it's not just us, but it's like a lot of people tend to gain weight when they get in a relationship unless they find a significant other than that is in a very fitness world. Yeah. But that doesn't mean also that you should just like, oh, it's normal. No, it's acknowledging that if you want that change, you need to do something about it. Because I'm damn sure your partner is not going to do anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember before I was like so like, or just like even talking about like weight was just like it was just like traumatic. I was like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I don't want to even like talk about like what's happened to me. And I remember that when I was in middle school, I guess like my friends would notice that I would only take like crackers and like a smoothie for lunch, and that was it. And I guess somebody told like the teacher, and they sent me with a counselor, which I had no idea about. They just took me out of my classroom and they took me to this counselor. And she was like, you can talk whenever you're ready. And I was like, talk about what? I was like, why am I here? I was so confused. And the entire time, I did not say one word. 'Cause I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And so later on, I found out who told the teacher. But I was kind of bothered because I was put in a situation that I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
My parents didn't know what was going on. And I just felt really, like, very uncomfortable.
Yeah, because nothing is being brought up. You're just like, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah, and I've tried other people like, yeah, just get counseling, you know, like, or therapy. Maybe I just haven't found the right therapist, but it has not helped me. I feel like I just sit there, I say, like, what's on my mind, but I leave exactly the same. And I'm just constantly just repeating and repeating something. I'm like, is that your tactic to just for me to repeat myself so I could hear myself? I don't know, you know?
Even till now, you still haven't found someone?
No, I haven't found that person I feel comfortable where I could literally spill, like, everything that I've gone through or, like, everything that I feel. You know, I haven't found that person, which leads me to kind of, like, how can I personally fix myself? But I'm like, can I fix myself if I'm already, like, broken? How do I put everything together if I mentally can't do it? You know?
You can. You can fix yourself. It's not... It's... Because that's what it was for me. It's like, I'm the broken man. I used to consider myself, like, the broken man because I went through so much shit. I went through my own, like, sexual traumas as a kid. But once again, and this is for me, it wasn't until I decided I wanted to make the change where it was like, all right, cool, now it's the time for me to do something about it. Because, yeah, like, I love therapy. I've done therapy multiple times before. I stopped. Now I'm not doing this much, but even though they can give me the tools, I'm the one who has to use the tools.
Yeah.
Like, they might make me talk, but the words that I'm saying out of my mouth, like, what am I going to do about it? So, yeah, like, I don't... Once again, I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect. But we have to understand that it is possible to get from one side to be able to face our traumas, to be able to get to where we want to be. But it really is up to us.
Yeah.
You know, have you ever heard of kintsugi?
Kintsugi.
No. Probably if I define it, you'll know what it is. So, in Japan, there's an art style where it's pottery, glass, anything like any type of ceramic. When it breaks, instead of throwing it away, they melt gold and they put gold as the, like, glue on the broken ceramic.
What?
Yeah. So it's a Japanese art style. So it's like, it's this, you know, bottle.
Yeah.
Whatever, and you just see lines and lines of, like, gold, and that's what's keeping it together. And I might fuck this up what I'm about to say, but the gold is representative of our current experiences to want to make ourselves better. We are the ceramic. We're the broken glass. The gold can really be anything you want it to be, but it's definitely that where it's like putting yourself together.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, wow. That is very interesting. I did not know that.
There you go. Drop some Japanese culture from like, Latino guys. So.
Oh, wow. I need to look into that. That is very interesting.
Like I said, dude, like, you're still on your journey. Don't get mad at yourself for not being somewhere where other people are that took them so much to get to. Because everyone does it differently. Because, dude, yeah, like, but don't get me wrong, like, I had to sacrifice also things to be able to get to this point too.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not in a relationship because I don't trust myself to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
I select my friends. I have a very small circle.
Yeah.
Because I know how people can be, and I don't believe trust is given. Trust is earned. It's earned.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So like, I had to sacrifice, like, a lot of those things for myself. You know?
Yeah. Wow. I feel enlightened.
Definitely check out, I don't know if you read books. You do. Whatever. Yeah. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I'll show you how the book looks. That's a book that was what's it called? Told to me by my old therapist. Really good book. And then from there on, you could just go to different starting points. It's just learning.
Okay.
To better yourself. It's just
Yeah, I will definitely check it out.
All right. Any last questions before my last question?
I think right now, I think those were like the most like specific questions I had because I feel like I had like a connection to it.
Definitely.
So I was just like, I want to hear like other perspectives about it, and like seeing you now, like you have come a long way. You know, like you completely flourished in so many beautiful ways.
And, you know, I'm not trying to be that creeper trying to hit on you.
But you know, it's nice. I love to see growth. Like I love to see people improving, and that's again here. I love, like I can never tell you that I've felt like envy towards someone or felt like jealous towards someone, because I love seeing people achieve things. I love seeing people grow. I love people accomplishing things. Like I love to see that. So like seeing it is just, it's like, it's uplifting, you know?
Yeah.
It's like adding to like the world, like another change. Like
it's like also if they could do it, like why can't
yeah,
I?
exactly. So that's why I was just like, let me dig into this question.
Please do. All right, you ready for my last question?
Yeah, what is it?
All right, cool. Because I want to let you go so you could get some food.
Yes.
So every time I have somebody on here, and this is like the main basis of why I created this podcast. Do you know what the word catalyst is? Have you heard of that word?
I've heard it.
So, but do you know if not, it's okay, because that way listeners could find out what it is also. So catalyst, the word in itself, is a scientific term where it's a chemical that gives something a chemical reaction faster versus it being by itself. And I'm sure I'm butchering it, but when it comes to human beings, a catalyst is a person that makes another person get by faster than if they were to go through their own journey or experiences.
Yeah.
So it's like it makes that event go by faster, like get into that event. Knowing that you've been through a lot and you're still going through your journey, what is the one thing that you want to say to them and leave for them that has helped you in what you're going through, or that can help them to achieve to where you want to go or where you are?
It's gonna sound super basic and simple,
No.
but to me personally, is always having like a good positive vibe inside me. I know there are times where half of me is like completely dark, but there is like that tiny little, you see like a seed, and that eventually it starts to like develop right into like a flower and it starts to bloom. That little seed is the one that keeps me like sane. It's that positive vibes, or having just to I don't know how to put it, like it's just having that hope of like who you want to become. And that's like the thrive, you know, like who are you? Like really question yourself, like who are you? And if you don't know, it's okay, because you're working towards it. But that's what I mostly do, is like, who is Jocelyn? How are you gonna get there? Or who do you want to be? And it's just having like that little 1% of like motivation or like that vibe can change my entire day. So that's what I always like thrive to. Whenever like in the morning, if I feel like very negative, I like sit down, I'm like, all right, Jocelyn, why do you feel this way? But then I like write a list in my head, and then I remember that little seed and that positivity. I'm like, hey, lighten up, feel better, you know? Yeah. Like, don't overstress yourself. Don't overthink about situations that maybe don't even need that overthinking. It's just maybe you have anxiety. I don't know. You know, I don't know. I think it's just maintaining like positive vibes and building a relationship with yourself. Having yourself and knowing yourself, it's going to bring that hole that you might be missing. So it's just building a relationship with yourself in a positive way. I think that's what I would say. Maybe that was confusing.
No,
It made sense in my head.
It makes sense. It makes sense outside of your head. You know, just have that vision of like where you want to be, and know that even in the darkest times, that positivity is going to take you farther than anything else in life. You know, and know that this is all part of the process to make you, to form you into who you want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was able to see. So it wasn't.
Yeah,
I was great. I was able to bring it out. All right. With that being said, listeners, thank you so much for checking out this episode. It's definitely been an honor to have Jocelyn here.
Oh, thank you.
Because this has been a long time coming. You guys have no idea. And if anything, I mean, dude, thank you for coming out.
No, thank you. It's like I've found a way on how to talk about situations or just talk about something that I don't get to do.
Yeah.
And I felt in a comfortable space where I was able to open up. So
I appreciate it for that. That has been episode 13 of the JTX podcast. As usual, thank you so much for tuning in, checking out the episode, listening. If you have any questions, comments, and so on, feel free to go to www.instagram.com/Jason Tamer. Shoot me a DM. I would love to listen to your feedback. If you want to be a guest, we could definitely talk and see if we can make something happen. And as usual, closing off, we've caused shit, been through shit, we've done shit. That doesn't mean we can't change today to be somebody's catalyst for a better tomorrow. Happy 2021, and we'll see each other soon. Take it easy.